Welcome to a new episode of Be Xorbitant, in German sei Exorbitant, which means be above your own orbit. This is regular German podcast about mental toughness, about winning mentality, about combat mindset, and it is for people who wants more in all areas of life. And yeah, we put out some content and we put out massive value for you guys outside, and I don't run any ads or anything like that, but I would appreciate if you bring me one new listener per episode, and if you share this episode and share the podcast, it would be great. And yeah, with that being said, this is a Special X episode, and Special X means I have a special topic I want to talk about, or I have a special guest. And today I have a special guest, an international guest, and he's from the USA. And I don't want to introduce him. I want just welcome him. This is Curran Jacobs. Hello, Curran.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hey, great to see you.
Good to see you too, brother.
The first question I always ask is who the fuck is? And this is exactly what I want to know and what the people want to know. Who the fuck is Curran Jacobs? It's your time now.
Well, I am the current Catchwrestling World Champion. I won that in 2018 in New Jersey. For those of you who aren't aware of Catchwrestling started in the 1870s in England and was extremely popular at the turn of the century, the biggest sport on the planet. 1911, Frank Gotch, George the Russian Lion Hackenschmidt filled Comiskey Park, 30,000 fans just to watch two guys wrestle for 2 hours. 2 hours and 3 minutes, I believe. But Catchwrestling...
In a row.
I'm sorry?
In a row?
No, it was a straight match. They wrestled for 2 hours. Wow. 30,000 fans in a baseball stadium watched them in a ring on the field. It's amazing. It's incredible. But that all changed after World War I. After World War I, the last legitimate Catchwrestling World Championship was in 1920, and that was between Joe Stecker and Earl Caddock. And Joe Stecker won. So literally 100 years ago to the date was the last legitimate Catchwrestling World Champion. And now I have that title. And I've just been trying to promote the sport, promote the art, because it is a dying art, and it is the other side of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coin. That's who I am, man. I'm a wrestler, submission wrestler. I'm a pro fighter now. I'm 1-0. I had a fight planned, but COVID-19 disrupted that and disrupted another fight I had lined up. So it's been pretty tough, this entire time, not being able to have that payday, that reward at the end of the day, for all the training. But yeah, man, I wrestled all my life. I've been wrestling ever since I was a kid, not even knowing what I was doing, rolling out rough and tumble style, as the carnies would call it. Carney American hook wrestling. A lot of people don't know this, but the strong man that people would see at the circus would, back in the day, challenge the townspeople to catch wrestling match for money. And I thought that was really cool. It's a really cool piece of history that's kind of been lost. But wrestled for Michigan State University. I was captain my junior and senior year, two-time NCAA qualifier. And my senior year, I was one match away from being an All-American, and I lost in the blood round to a very tough guy. But I went on to Los Angeles, met Randy the Natural Couture. He's been a really good friend of mine and a mentor ever since.
Can you, sorry for interrupt you, but can you talk about Randy Couture a little bit? Because not all the people outside are martial artists. All listeners are martial artists. So maybe you can explain who Randy is.
Absolutely. For those who don't know who Randy the Natural Couture is, he's one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. The guy is incredible. He's a light heavyweight and heavyweight champion. He's a Greco-Roman wrestler. He an incredible wrestler, and he was in the Expendables movie with Sylvester Stallone. He was actually in the trilogy. So he's done a lot of acting. Literally the baddest man I've ever met, and a close friend. I mean, he has just been so supportive and incredible with giving me advice. And I met up with him, and he introduced me to catch wrestling, and that was back in 2014, and that changed the game for me. It gave me something to fight for and work for at the time, because I was 2 years out of college, really missing wrestling, really missing that competitive aspect of my life, and catch wrestling changed that. After he introduced it to me, I started training in it, rigorously, and I won the first tournament I was in. It was USA versus the world. We actually had a lot of guys from the UK come over, Canada, somebody from Mexico was in it. So yeah, that's when it really all happened. Randy really started the snowball effect for me when it came to catch.
Wow, awesome. And the world champion title was 2018, right?
Correct.
2018. When was it the same tournament where the snake pit was?
Yes.
This is the same with the three guys with what was it? I think 30 minutes fights.
Yeah, man. I wrestled for a total of 1 hour and 33 minutes that night against 3 guys that outweighed me anywhere between 40 to 60 pounds.
Wow.
So, and the layout was 5-minute rounds, all submissions. Everything was legal except for strikes and fish hooks and hair pulling and all that. But everything was legal, and there were no time limit to the rounds. So we could have gone 20 rounds. And it was a long night.
Yeah, but you won all fights by I think sleeper hold, right?
Yep, I got those 3 guys in the sleeper hold. It took a while, wore them down throughout the match, but yep, I got them with the sleeper hold, more commonly known as the rear naked choke.
Yeah, yeah. But this is an impressive skill set, and I think we don't need to talk about that. But how tough is it from a mental standpoint to fight these guys in a row? And I think there were a little bit problems from the outside, from the you were not the favorite guy there, right?
No, as a matter of fact, I wasn't welcome right away. There was some beef between Josh Barnett and I, which has thankfully been, put to rest. The hatchet has been buried.
Awesome.
And Josh has been incredible. But yeah, there was some serious bad blood going in on that tournament. And overcoming that on top of the physical challenge was insane.
Yeah.
Was insane,
Do you were prepared for that? I mean, not the skill set, mentally. Do you were prepared for that?
It all came together that night, and I was. Wow. And if I wasn't prepared mentally that night, I probably would have gassed out in the first match that was with Johnny Buck, and he was, another Division I wrestler, former Bellator fighter. That mental aspect that I have figured out over my years of wrestling is definitely what led me to the victory that night. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
That's an interesting part, because most people outside think a champion is born on a champion's day, but most of the time it's in the darkest hours when nobody's looking. The years before, the weeks before, the lessons and the time in the gym when nobody's looking, when you're alone and you're training maybe with a dummy or whatever. And that's interesting, because you say the preparation over the last years. And
yeah,
is it that you trust? Is it what is it? Is it a type of trust in your skill set that bring your mental point higher, that bring your mental strength, or what was it?
Confidence definitely comes with preparation. Absolutely. And the amount of work that I put into my training leading up to that event was probably the hardest I had ever worked in my life for anything. And at the time, it was around the 1-year anniversary of my mom's death. Mm-hmm. She had a very hard fought battle with cancer, and she had lost.
I'm sorry for that.
And thank you, brother. After that, I was like, every day counts. Every day matters. And I started getting rid of excuses. Excuses are like a warm bed with silk sheets and feathery pillows. It's comfortable. It makes you relax. It makes people settle. It makes, it gives you a reason not to push forward and make all these sacrifices and life changes that you really have to make if you're going to pursue any combat sport professionally. You really have to want it. And, I heard a term, find your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you making these sacrifices? Why are you putting yourself through all this pain? And it made me realize that even back when I was wrestling for Michigan State, as much as I was putting into it, I didn't know my why at the time. So it was almost like I was going through the motions. You know what I mean? And I was going through the motions at 100%.
Yeah.
But passionately and mentally, my mind honestly was more on acting. And that is a regret, because I look back and I'm like, man, I could have been, would have been, should have been, but that is fuel that I use every single day. And I'm like, I'm not going to let up. And I think about my opponent out there training, and I'm like, is he training? Like, I can't allow him to train harder than I'm training. And it almost becomes an obsession to better yourself, to grow, and to deal with all the pain that's involved with training and all of the inconveniences that come with the sacrifices that need to be made.
Yeah, man, this is so awesome. I wish I could show you my questions here, because one of the questions I wanted to ask you later was, are you obsessed? And you already answered it, and I love the answer. Yeah, obsession. I love, because some people outside, they don't understand it. They think obsession is a bad word. Obsession is out of control. Obsession is whatever. But I think it's necessary when you want to bring it to a point, or to a higher what is it, to a higher area, standard. Yeah. I think you have to be obsessed about what you're doing. You have to be obsessed about your goals, or about your targets, whatever it is. And I mean obsessed in a controlled way, but you have to kill everything what distracts you. And this, I think this is the hardest part, because you say yes to yourself and no to other things and to other persons. But
it's very hard. And it affects everything. It affects relationships, it friendships, dating life. I mean, everything. It changes, and you have to accept it if you know that this is what you want.
Yeah. And you are married, right?
Now,
you're married. You're married.
I'm not married.
Are you not married? But you're a father, right?
I am. Yep. I have a 6-year-old boy.
Oh man, awesome.
Yeah. And that adds to, finding your why. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And holding that boy and spending time with that boy.
Yeah.
There's not really much more motivation you need when.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're a father or a mother, you when you forget your why, take a look at your side. Take a look at the small person at your side. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, this is you have now a new why, or another why, not a new, but another why, because in times of uncertainty, congratulations, brother, you open up a gym.
Yes.
And
Yes, I did.
yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. Is it open right now? Is it did you open it,
So our shutdown was just extended to June 12th.
Mm-hmm.
So after the shutdown's lifted, it'll be ready to rock and roll.
Wow.
You know, yeah. The owner of the building and I, Doug, have been tirelessly working on, making this gym top notch. And it's not just going to be for wrestlers or grapplers. There's a upper level that's going to be for striking, and it's got a cage. It's really something sweet, and I can't wait to open it and invite invite people in. But yeah, man,
much success for this. But hey, hard times create tough men. So it's in time in uncertainty times like now, most entrepreneurs are not going that way to open up new things. So what was your drive? What was your motivation? What was the why?
Yeah, exactly, man. It's a great question, because it was tough. It was tough because I'm reading about all these businesses being shut down, all of these people struggling, and it was really, for a while there, I was like, I don't even want to go on social media, because seeing what's happening to people, reading all the negativity, all the arguments and the banter, it was soul sucking. So I actually got together with Doug, and we made a pact. We were like, hey man, let's train every single day. If you teach me some stand-up boxing, I'll teach you some catch wrestling.
Awesome.
And it was a very even trade, and it was awesome. And we trained for 3 hours, a day. And then we got to talking, and I was like, you know what, man, I would love for this town to be the catch wrestling capital of the world. I was like, because when we were teaching each other and exchanging that knowledge, he was like, wow. He was like, I have been trying to learn wrestling for years. And in these 2 weeks, I have grown more than I ever have. And I can't believe it. It's crazy, man. Like you need to teach. Like you need to teach. We need to get a website out. We need to start showing the people what catch wrestling is really about, with your Division I background combined with, all this catch wrestling training you've gotten. It's really something, awesome. And he inspired me, and I was like, well, let's do it, man. So
When was it conversation?
So the conversation was, this had to have been anywhere between March 20th to the 25th that week.
Wow.
Yeah. So we started putting in the work, man, and he just motivating each other, getting each other excited about it. And that became our thing. We'd train and we'd set up the gym, man, ordering stuff like crazy, cleaning up.
Hey, let me short explain this for the listeners, because this is brilliance. And this is the idea came in March. And so now you open up your gym, and it's I saw the pictures. It's not that small. It's not a small gym. It's a kind of a big size, right?
Yeah, man, it's nice. And there's 2 levels.
My point is, ladies and gentlemen outside, this is relevant, because you have an idea and you don't overthink. You make it as go excited, get excited, then decide, and then make a plan and stick to the fucking plan. Hey, most of the time, do you agree? Most of the time people have an idea, but they never do anything. They never do anything.
Yeah.
Maybe after years, but most of the time they keep it forever in their head, or they keep it forever on a piece of paper or whatever it is. And this is exactly what people missing, making a decision and stick to the decision. This is awesome. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, brother, write it down.
Yeah.
So many people talk about it. So many people talk about it, and talk is great. And talk, is another thing that's very comfortable because, once you get a nice dialogue going, it's great. But write it down. Write down your thoughts, write down your ideas, write down your plans, and then have the courage to spring it into action.
Yeah.
That is the thing, courage. And a lot of that is, having the confidence to spring forward and to just try it, just do it.
Yeah.
Nike.
I think confidence is success is the memory effect for confidence, because when you have small successes, it becomes a big picture after a while, and the big picture is the confidence to do big things and to step into big decisions. And man, because and for example, and I want to try to build a bridge to the catch wrestling, because catch wrestling is a hard sport. It's a tough sport, and is it because of that you can make tough decisions?
100%.
Yeah.
I wish I had learned catch wrestling back when I was 13 years old, because of the philosophy and the mindset. And the philosophy is to pin your opponent into submission. Like people, and I hear from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and other grappling arts all the time, oh, the pin, they have a problem with the pin. When you pin someone down, you constrict their breathing, you start seeping into their mind and triggering their doubts, because you're putting all that weight on them. And when they panic, you capitalize and sneak in a position. But anyway, back to what you were saying. Yes, catch wrestling, the mindset is move forward. Move forward, apply the pressure. Pressure, boom, boom. It is a very brutal mindset when it comes to the art of war. It is a mindset of that you are going to destroy who's in front of you by any means necessary, and that mindset definitely helped me with the decision to spring forward, because it was a scary thought, especially with everything that was going on. I was like, oh my, you start thinking, people are going to think I'm nuts for doing this in a time like this. It's, where businesses are struggling, but, we had faith in the project, and we know that when this place opens up and we get people in there, that I know 100% that from everything that I know with catch wrestling, I can inspire my students coming in.
I think in every area of life, when you want to build something, first you have to have the belief and the faith, and then you have the seed, because there is no product yet. There is no in the beginning, there is no gym, there is no product, there is nothing, but there is a belief, there is a thought, and the thought became a belief or become a belief. And I think this is important, that from a mental standpoint, people get stronger in their beliefs in themselves, in their beliefs, in their goals. And people have unlearned this. I sometimes I think to myself, because they're distracted from social media, distracted from whatever happened in the world, and they're not concentrated on themselves. What do you think?
I think that this is the problem. People get lost hours and hours a day just scrolling mindlessly through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever it may be. There's so many apps now that you can get distracted. You have to learn that the phone works for you. You don't work for your phone.
100%.
And the moment you can instill the discipline to put the damn phone away and really start, self-reflecting, soul-searching, which is hard to do. That's hard.
Because we have every time a reason to take the phone, to pick the phone. We use every reason. Oh, I just want to. It started always with that. I just want to check. I just want to call. I just want to. And you end up in half an hour or whatever it is of your lifetime you never get back. Never get back. And this is the interesting part about wrestling in generally. You have to be in the moment, or in fight sport in generally. You have to be in the fucking moment. Otherwise, in catch wrestling, I know for sure, you get smashed. You get destroyed when you're not in the moment, when you not know what to do, or when you're distracted about anything like that, or your arm is outside or anything like that because you're not aware of it. You get destroyed. You get painfully destroyed. And I think this is a fantastic philosophy, because we talk about brutal sport or we talk about tough sport, but this is also an honest sport. Because what I think is, in every area of life and in nature, it's not like everybody is a winner. It's not like you can lay down and I don't know, unicorns and butterfly are running around you and anything like that, or whatever it is, or a success fairy tale or anything. No, you have to put in the work, and this is exactly, you have to make a decision. And I love you for telling me that with your decisions, because this is so important for people outside to hear. Because March, idea in March, now open up. This is so awesome, brother. Really,
Thank you.
I'm so lucky for you, 100%. I'm happy for you.
Thank you, brother.
Do you think we talk about faith and we talk about belief, but is it a commitment? Do you when you say now this is your purpose, is it a purpose now?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond catch wrestling.
Yeah.
It goes beyond catch wrestling, because it is the mental aspect of catch wrestling that I know that every student, whether an amateur, professional, beginner, pro, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You come in and you learn the philosophy and the fundamentals of catch wrestling that I have been so fortunate to learn over the years. It will help you with life. You know, Dan Gable once said, once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy. And that is, you know, I thought that was a cool quote when I was a kid, but I didn't fully understand it. Not until, you know, I was in my late 20s. It's so hard to find the motivation to go into a room for 2 hours and to do what is the most physically challenging, one of the most physically challenging sports you can get into for 2 hours and just absolutely get, you know, thrown around and taken down. It takes a special type of human, and you do have to dig deep. And that is what I hope to instill into my students when they come into the gym, you know, to understand that you do have it within you. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care where you come from or who you were raised by. Everyone's circumstances are different. Some have a much harder time finding it, that their why within them, finding what burns them, but everyone has it. Everyone has it. And I believe 100% that through catch wrestling training, you'll discover it. If you have the courage to stick with it and show up. Show up. Challenge yourself to show up, because that in itself is tough. And, you know, I'm very big on having no ego when it comes to teaching and training. Leave your ego at the door. Come in with an open mind. Come in ready to learn. Come in ready to challenge yourself. Enjoy the challenge. If you don't enjoy the challenge, you're going to run away from the challenge. And then you're going to live the rest of your life blaming others or finding excuses to make yourself feel better for not showing up and putting in the work. And then comes in regrets later on, and that is something that I never want to happen to me or anyone that comes in to learn.